Hi, this is Adrina Thorpe, and I'm sharing some of the meanings behind some of the songs that I've written throughout the years. I actually ran out of time. I have to go pick up my kids from school. I decided to make all of these in one day, in the little blip when they're at school. But I'm going to run down through whatever I can remember of the songs and give the quickest explanation I can in this little 5 minutes that I've got. So let's start with the songs I released with DJ Shah. Back to You is a song about just restoring a relationship that got broken. More theoretical, not really a personal experience, but sometimes I like writing theoretical songs. Let's see. Island. Island is an incredibly painful song that I wrote about relationship struggles when there's a person that you're trying to reach and they just won't bend and they just won't do anything to budge, and you feel like an island and gosh, if you could just compromise, if you could just see, there could be such a good relationship here, but no, it has to be like living on an island. Sometimes people have issues that you just can't work around and you just have to accept, but the frustration that you feel of just making those same mistakes over and over and over again with them because you keep hoping that it'll work this time, and the definition of stupid is doing that. Skyline. It's just about being sad and knowing that there's going to be something good later. When you're a singer-songwriter, you're sad a lot. At least I am. I like sad songs. Actually, I love sad songs. When a song is sad, it'll actually make me, if it's really good, it will make me sneeze. Oh, it's good if it's sad, it's good, and if it makes me cry, it's even better. There was Fly, 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 song about falling in love with my husband. Did You Think? It was also a song about falling in love with my husband. Oh, on Halflight and Shadows, Give You My Love. That was a lullaby I wrote for my daughter, my first daughter. A lot of people take it as a love song, but no, it's a lullaby. She didn't really like my lullabies. She just liked basic lullabies, but you know what? Other people liked it, so it's all good. Let's see, what other songs? Elusive. Elusive was a song about just this crush and just the dumb thoughts that your brain thinks. I decided to write a song about that. Everything Changes. That's on Halflight and Shadows. That was just a fun song I wrote. It really it was just for my subconscious. I didn't have anything specific, but sometimes my subconscious was talking, explaining my struggles, and I didn't realize it. Same with Sorry. I look back on Sorry and realize I was sort of going through some stuff, but I didn't even realize it. It's, you're saying sorry, but maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you weren't even wrong, but here you are taking the blame for everything because you haven't figured out yet that something isn't healthy. That's Sorry. Around the Bend is another one of those songs about, why can't we just find compromise? Why can't we just find compromise? No, sometimes some people just don't know how to compromise. And it hurts. It really hurts. Let's see. Oh, Never Meant. That was just a fun song I wrote, just theoretical. I was just having fun with it. I mean, you kind of have some of that experience when you're young and people want to date you and you're like, not really interested. Let's see, trying to think. Oh, Wistful. That was a song I wrote based off of a friend's experience, she told me. Also, More Than 17 was a story that I wrote based off of a friend's experience. So, when you share stories with a songwriter, you might get a song written about you. If you hurt a songwriter's heart, you might get a song written about you. So, yeah, let's see. Okay, back to Halflight and Shadows. I'm sure I'm missing some of the songs because I'm just doing the spur of the moment. What other songs did I write? Oh, Seed. Seed is a special song to me. It's just a song about how crushing the music industry is. It's not about a relationship. And I'm glad I didn't go any farther because honestly, I hear stories. I had a little bit of a taste and it's enough for me. What other songs? I really need to go. Sorry about all the ums. It's just I know I'm not going to do this later. I don't really have time. I don't really listen to my albums that much. When I do, it's always kind of fun, oh, actually did a good job there. What? Wow, okay, I'm glad I did that. I don't mean to brag on myself, but I'm not as good as a lot of other musicians out there, but I did okay. Well, you know what? I can't remember the other ones I wrote. I'll have to think about it later, but this video is getting long. I'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed the music, and have a wonderful day. I gotta go get my kids now. Bye. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm back. Just picked up the kids. They're on their tablets for a little bit. I gotta make it fast because I don't really like for them to be on screen time too much some days. It happens. But, you gotta try not to do that. So anyway, I've figured out which songs I didn't talk about yet and made a list so I won't forget, because it has been a while since I released these songs. So, and I don't really listen to my albums very much. Okay, so let's go down the list. Okay, so Impossible Dream. Impossible Dream is a song about, that feeling, you don't measure up. You're just not good enough. You might be kind of pretty, but there's someone who's really pretty. You might sing well, but there's someone who sings really well. You might write songs well, but there's someone who writes so much better. And, just those struggles and those feelings of just feeling like you're broken, and like, no matter how hard you try, you can only go so far as your genetics let you, and dealing with that internal struggle that we all feel, because we're all, imperfect beings. None of us are really capable. And, it's just a part of life. But anyway, that's what that song was about. And I think it's a deep struggle for me. I'm definitely a perfectionist. I definitely set my goals higher than I can ever reach them, and end up hurting myself in the process. So that's a song I wrote about that struggle. The next song, see, I have a list now, so I won't forget, is Midnight. And Midnight is a song about fear of abandonment in a relationship. Just feeling abandoned, feeling alone. Sometimes you can be in a relationship and definitely feel abandoned even while you're in a relationship. And this song is just sort of like that inner heart's struggle, that inner heart cry of like, will you be there? Will you still care about me? And just exposing the fragility of that feeling. And like, I just had this image of just somebody just out in the dark, in the cold, wearing like this black garment, like down on the floor, like just looking up at the stars, feeling the cold and just isolated. And that's what I felt. It was just capturing that feeling and describing it in a song. Flavor is a song that I co-wrote with my producer, Filippo Gaetani. And he's such a great guy. He did such a good job on the album, Halflight and Shadows. Truly talented. He lives in Italy, and we met online, and it was a great collaboration. And he had written part of the song, and then I sort of completed it. And it's just about losing the zest for life, the passion for life, just the humdrum, just going through the motions and losing the flavor of life, losing the joy. And, if you want to, you could find the joy. Could you? Could you find the joy? How about not arguing? How about finding the joy? Just sort of like that question mark, that thought process. Driving. Driving is a song I wrote. It was just kind of inspired by actually when I'd be driving around with my husband, and we'd be taking my giant keyboard, and it was heavy. He would carry it. And we'd be driving in this beat up little car and going to little gigs, places, and performing. And, I just wanted to write a song about it as, the cars were zooming by, and just like, oh, this is a beautiful moment. This is sweet. This is sweet. And then I almost imagined it sweeter than it was. Like I added sweetness to it and then wrote a song about it. And it ended up becoming a beautiful story in my mind. Moment to End. Moment to End is a theoretical, beautiful moment. I just wrote a song about a theoretical, beautiful moment, a theoretical, beautiful love, and just like, I don't want it to end. And sometimes when mostly when I'm writing, I get a melody. And it just all starts with a melody, and then I add the lyrics, and then I figure out the chords, and, slowly we put it together. And so I don't remember, but I'm sure this was just a melody that came to me, and I just felt like these were the words that needed to go with it. And I want to find that moment. I want to land in that moment, and I don't want it to end because it's just alluring, it's haunting, it's calling me. I don't want this moment to end. Heal is a song that's actually got positive lyrics, and it's really sadly sarcastic, and it's a sad message because I wrote it while healing from a surgery that I just knew deep down it wasn't going to work. And, I've got this chronic pain I'm dealing with. I've had surgeries overseas, and it's hard. So at the same time, it's just a beautiful song. It was just a beautiful melody, and I'm grateful for the beautiful experience that it is to listen to it. And I just think about, as you're waiting for healing that may or may not come, let the sunlight in, let the wind breathe, just this finding the beauty, even while you're in the middle of the pain, that might not heal, and while you're saying the time is going to heal and you're knowing it's not going to heal, just finding that beauty. That's a heavy one. Kiss the Day is a song about, lighten up, relax, enjoy the moment. I am not the kind of person who can relax and enjoy a moment. I am always busy, always got something and a million things to do, and it's hard to just stop and just enjoy this day. Enjoy the day. Enjoy it. So that's what that song's about. And finally, off the album Elusive, Correction. Correction is just a song about your failures, your failures. Are you going to let them stop you? Are you going to just die? Are you going to just curl up in a fetal position? Are you going to say, I give up? No. And it's like a little call, like, yeah, you messed up. Yeah, I know it was embarrassing. Yeah, I know, but hey, little angel, your sail isn't broken. Hey, little angel, your wings are unopened. Why don't you fly? Open up your wings. If you fall, rise. Just like, what? Don't let your failures crush you. Open those wings again. Let's try again. And, I think I need to tell myself that sometimes. So that's where that song came from. Anyway, those are all the songs, and I enjoyed sharing the details with you. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.